So, okay, question. I know when you first started, you said you had an ego. I'll say the same thing for myself when I first started YouTube. But what happened with you where you kind of started realizing like, okay, um, this ego is kind of fake. Like people showing me validation, showing me hate, like this is kind of fake.
When I started to believe it, when I started to crave it, I started recognizing that, oh, I put this video up and then I'm over there, I'm like waiting and looking like, all right, people are giving it thumbs up. And there was a time when I was the golden child of YouTube. I would have video with like 40,000 views and 0 dislikes. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I must be amazing. Everybody loves me. I give good advice and I'm saving everybody. So I really started, and when people put comments up that say that, you saved my life, Elliott. You don't know what you did for me, Elliott. Thank you so much, Elliott. People will even say, Elliott is a god. And I read that and
Jeez.
I'm like, maybe they're onto something. And as you know, pride is before the fall. So, and the same way that I was able to, I started taking in that praise was the same way that when the negative started coming, I would take that in too. And I started realizing, like, wait a second, this is none of this, all of this is disorder. It doesn't make any sense. The ups and the downs, I have to be completely detached. Otherwise, I'm gonna be like a ship in a storm, just up and down. I can't. One of my teachers said this to me when I was many years ago when I was explaining to him what was going on. He says, "Man, you subject yourself to the mass psychosis. You can't allow yourself to mirror the mental sickness of the people in the world." And that's basically what I was doing.
That's crazy, dude. And I guarantee when people tell you, yo, like, Heather, you changed my life. I see you like a father figure, like an uncle, like a brother, or something like that. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad I get help. But it's like it doesn't go any further than that. Or at least that's how
No,
it feels for me.
I can't. I can't, because there was a time when at first I was inoculated against it because I really didn't even understand what was going on. I was just like, whatever, I'm just putting up videos. And then I started to believe it. And then when I started to believe it, then I got lost. And so, at this point, wisdom has taught me that it's not even me. It's whatever they're receiving. It's not even really me on that screen. It's just bits on the screen. You know what I'm saying? They don't know me. I don't know them. And so they could form their opinion that maybe I'm a great guy. Maybe I'm not. Some people actually found out that I'm not as great as you thought I was. And that's heartbreaking sometimes. And you got a hero and you're like, wait a second, this guy's a little screwed up. But yeah, I'm a little screwed up. And so don't hang your hopes on me.
Jeez, man. We're all screwed up, to be honest.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Put around me, bro. Go ahead, man.
So would you say that when you were in that state, your maybe not your view of yourself, but how you felt depended on people's perception of you? So like, let's say one video you posted got 1 million views in like the first 10. Next day you post and it doesn't. That affect you?
You know how like an alcoholic, he has that first drink and he doesn't know he's about to become an alcoholic. He has no idea. But he gets that first drink. He's like, man, this drink is great. I had such a great time. And then he does it again. And it's like, okay, it repeated it. But then he gets to a point where if he doesn't get that high, then he wants another drink. It's like, wait a second, one drink used to do it, but now I need 2 drinks. Now I need 3 drinks. It's like, I'm not getting that high that I wanted. And so it's the same, it works that way with all kind of dopamine hits that we get. And, same thing with the screens, right? And I found that like, okay, so if I got a high, wow, I got a high from this video. Wow, everybody loves that. Everybody loves me. I must be doing amazing. And then, like you said, another one comes and it's like, oh, I didn't get the same high on this one. Let me go back and do it again. Let me be a little bit more eccentric. Let me say a little bit more. Let me say it louder. Let me be a little bit more crazy. Maybe they'll like this one. And then next thing you lose your mind.
Yeah, that's crazy that you say that too, because referring what you said before was like you're just putting something up and like they're gonna take it how they take it. And it's like, bro, you might say one thing and your message might be one thing and they're taking something completely different.
Right. Yeah, people hear what they want to hear. That's another thing that you have to keep in mind too. People just they hear what they want to hear. So it's not even what I'm saying.
It's crazy, man.
Very unfortunate nowadays, especially with like political correctness, right? Because they hear one thing or they think they hear one thing, and all of a sudden it's like some like alarms start ringing in people's heads.
Triggered.
Yeah, that's the word. That is the word.
Yeah, they get triggered. Well, I kind of enjoy triggering people too, because if you don't trigger people, you don't know the landmine is there until you step on it. So triggering people kind of like, I think 2020 in a way kind of it sorted things out, because it's like, okay, now I know who's who. Whoever was triggered, whoever was like the crisis kind of brought people's true colors to the surface. And that's kind of what happens when you watch somebody get triggered. You're like, oh, okay, I see that. You got that little wound right there. That's a little weak spot. And if I just touch that, oh, you expose your vulnerability. And so a lot of times I'll just do stuff and I'll just say stuff just because like I want to see where people are at. And of course, it's not always well received, but that's the point. It's like, okay, let me see who's gonna have a hard time with this.
Are you referring just to online, or are you referring also to like in real life, like the people you communicate on a day-to-day basis?
I practically live under a rock. I don't see anybody on a day-to-day basis. I have 4 children and my wife. And of course I'll see, like, tomorrow's my birthday and I'm going to take my father. We're going to go to the Florida gun show. And so I'll see my father, I'll see my brothers and siblings, but I don't really see anybody. And I kind of prefer it this way. I don't want to deal with people.
Really? Do you think that's changed? Or do you think it's always been like that?
No, I've always been, no, I don't want to say always, because I used to, the world makes you believe that extroversion is some sort of, it's better. It's better to be out there. It's better to be in front of people. It's better to be charismatic. It's better to be in the thick of stuff. And so I think a lot of people who would generally be more introverted or basically, more reserved and pulled into themselves, we, because of the pressure or because it's so delightful to the world, we put ourselves out there as extroverts. And I found that, maybe just because I'm getting old and grumpy, but over time I realized that like, I don't really want to be out there. I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be dealing with anybody. I was very serious when I said that, I make videos because it's my business. It's my work. If there was no profit in it, I wouldn't do this. What am I doing this for? I could spend my days just raising my kids. We homeschooling now. I'm about to we're moving to a ranch. I could do homesteading. We can raise chickens and goats and milk cows. And like, there's so much other things to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not that holy. I'm not that much of a nice guy. Like I'm just giving myself away. A lot of these gurus like to pretend like I'm so altruistic that I'm putting myself out there to change the world. And if you're honest, you're not putting yourself out there to change the world. You're putting yourself out there because you receive feedback, because there's a sense of mirroring that you get from people. If you're like yourself and me and we're making YouTube videos and people like them, there's revenue that comes in. So I don't think anybody out there, not to say there aren't any people, but I say far and few between are actually doing it out of their overflowing of their heart. I just want to help people. That's an ego trip too. That's an ego trip.
Yeah, for sure. It reminds me of when I first started YouTube. I was I tried being real spiritual, and I had this like spiritual ego, and people were like, "Oh, this man is so selfless. He has no ego." But like low key, I had the biggest ego, being the spiritual guru type deal. And then I remember me and my fiance had split, and like at that point, I was like, "Man, forget this." And then like my real ego came out, like my real side, and then people were like, "Oh man, like he changed. This guy's a piece of trash." I'm like, "No, this is just me."
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's the same. That's it right there, man. And when they see your true colors, if you didn't match up to the idol that they make you in their head, then you fall out of grace, like I did. But that's okay.
It's like that box you said. People put you in that box.
Right.
Damn. Yeah, I still remember that.
Mm.